Today we are taking a look into my own personal car purchase, a 2021 Elantra N line. This car is equipped with a 1.6-liter turbo engine and a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. It also features lots of great tech, including a wireless phone charger, an Apple CarPlay, plus heated seats in the all-new Hyundai BlueLink system that allows you to start the car from your phone and even set your temperatures in the winter when it's too cold outside to do it yourself. Not only is this car filled with lots of tech, but it is also a joy to drive for someone looking to stay in the economy car market while also having a bit of fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and please, as always, enjoy the video. So today, everyone, we are driving the 2021 Hyundai Elantra N line. This is my own personal car purchase, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten to you guys with the video in a while, but this is my brand new car. It's a 2021, like I said before. It's got a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission with the 4-cylinder 1.6-liter turbo that makes 201 horsepower, and I believe 195 pound-feet of torque, but I could be off on that number at the moment. So overall, this interior is really nice. There's red leather stitching, as you saw before, throughout the vehicle. The seats are comfortable. They are leather with a cloth insert. So, I would say the vast majority of what you are sitting on is in fact cloth, but there are leather components on the sides and on the headrest. The seats are comfortable. They fit you very nicely. If you're, on a little joyride and you're taking corners hard, they actually hold you really well, but not to the point where they're squeezing you. I'm heavier at about 230 pounds right now. I've actually started going to the gym, so I'm gonna be lighter than that soon. But not the point. The point being, at this weight, I don't feel squeezed in these seats to the point where they're uncomfortable, and I can drive them to and from work, which is 2.5 hours round trip, and do that with ease. So this car has 3 modes, one being sport, one being normal, and the other being smart. So I'll explain those two. Obviously normal is, just your normal settings on how the car reacts to things and how it drives. Sport makes your acceleration feel a lot more instant when you hit the throttle. It seems to give you a higher exhaust note, but I could be wrong. It could just be because the car is keeping you in higher RPMs and being a little more aggressive with the shifting. And smart is essentially whenever you're driving, it'll customize your drive mode to you. So if you are driving aggressively, it'll essentially put you in sport. If you're driving slow, it'll put you into eco. If you're just driving normally, you would hope that it would just be in, a balance of both, and then in the middle, in the normal. But with this smart mode, I don't like it personally, because in this setting, I'll actually put it on while I describe it. So in this setting, it will leave you in eco pretty much no matter how you drive it, up until the point where you're really hammering down in the car. Like, here, I'll give it a little bit of throttle. It'll go up to normal, okay. And okay, I want it to stay in kind of a normal setting, but I'm letting off the throttle because I'm approaching a turn. Then boom, it's in smart eco mode. Just like that. Essentially, it's called smart mode, but it's really just eco mode. I don't feel like it's a good setting, because you should just have eco mode, and then if you want to drive fast, if you want to just have the car in normal settings, or like either or, leave it in those modes instead of playing around with this in between and this changing every 2 seconds. I don't want the car to be a chameleon. I just want to be able to control what I'm doing at what point. So if I'm driving sporty, I'll leave it in sport. If I want to drive normally, I leave it in normal. And honestly, if it just had eco, I would probably use that in my commute, but it doesn't just have an eco button. It's smart mode. And I don't like how it feels, honestly. So as you can see here in this gauge cluster, I'm trying to show it to you guys. You can see the checkered flag. That is our red line. It's a cool little feature that the red line features a checkered flag, you know, kind of end performance themed. I do like it, but the one thing is downshift, downshift, downshift. Try to put the car into red line, it automatically shifts before you even reach red line. It doesn't bother me a whole lot, but it should have been taken into consideration when they were designing this car. Some things that bother me about the interior, I mean, just one in particular would be that it doesn't have a sunglass visor. There's no sunglass holder up here. So I just have to leave them wherever, and honestly, there's not really a good place to leave them. So I just end up leaving them on my seat or, you know, wherever, which kind of stinks. I do like how the interior is very driver focused, meaning that the infotainment's catered to me, adjusted towards me. We have this like, oh crap handle down here below and kind of separates me from my passenger in the front. And it has power adjustable seats, which are comfortable, heated seats for both me and my passenger. Another thing I love about this car is the steering wheel. I think it's so pretty. It's a really nicely designed steering wheel. It's comfortable to just keep your hands on 9 and 3. And what that means is if you're looking at a clock, an analog clock, my hands are essentially on the 9 and the 3. It's a very comfortable driving position. I feel like I'm in a cockpit, but I have a decent amount of visibility in both my side view mirrors that are kind of edged like the body lines of this car, and out the back, which has a slopey design to it. So the driving position of this car is great. I would say that the one thing that bothers me is I wish the seat would go slightly lower. I just feel like if I was maybe a ½ inch lower, maybe even less than that, I would be at my perfect driving position where I have the right amount of visibility, but not to the point where I'm in the roof. I sit at about 5'10", so I feel like someone who is even 6 feet tall, maybe 6'1" or 6'2", could fit comfortably in this car. I have enough legroom, judging by width and length. This car goes back enough where, you know, you're not squishing your rear end passengers, but you have a good amount of legroom. I've sat 4 people in this car pretty comfortably. I wouldn't say that if you were going on a long road trip, it'd be a consideration to go for a larger sedan. But I think this Elantra, being a little bit longer than its previous generation, is a good fit. Going back to the drive modes real quick, I would say that I leave my car in sport mode the most, especially when I have open roads. It's just so fun to play with the throttle. And what I mean by that is just getting on it maybe like 20-30% and just hearing a little bit of exhaust feedback. I don't know if you guys can particularly hear it as much as I can, but it's really nice. The infotainment in this car works great. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, which makes things really easy, and it's a good combination with the wireless charger that we have down here as well. The one thing I will say about the Apple CarPlay as a negative is sometimes it'll just randomly disconnect, and it'll essentially just, it won't connect for the rest of my car ride, whether it be, you know, 10 minutes or an hour. But regardless of the Apple CarPlay not working, the Bluetooth stays connected, and so you can still listen to your music and such, but the Apple CarPlay feature can sometimes be a little spotty. This car is also equipped with Hyundai's Blue Link system, which is now an app where you can do things like remote start your car and set the temperatures and set the heated seats. I've actually tried this feature. It was a little tough getting it set up, but since having it set up now, it's actually really convenient. I will say that the delay can sometimes be 30 to 45 seconds. I wouldn't say that this car is the quickest, but it's pretty sporty as it provides you a 0 to 60 in around the 6-second range. But as you can see, as we get up in speeds here, not that we're going very fast, but you know, we're going highway speeds, there is quite a bit of wind noise. The only complaint I would have with this car on the highway is if you get in stop and go traffic, it's very cumbersome as the dual clutch transmission just really wants to play with you. It's not very good at staying at low speeds, and essentially with the dual clutch you can't keep it just at those crawling speeds where essentially the only thing that is pushing you forward is the drive in, you know, say an automatic transmission, which in stop and go traffic, that's like 90% of your travel speed. So it's kind of tough in that sense, and I've actually been quite bothered with it. So if you have a lot of stop and go traffic, if you commute into and out of a large city, I would suggest with going not with just not buying an Elantra N line, but don't buy a car with a dual clutch transmission, because you will not like your commute. So I do have to say that the AC takes away from your power a little bit. They do say that in all cars that this, you know, is an occurrence, but I've definitely noticed it in this car, whereas if I have the AC off, I accelerate a bit faster. It's no big deal if this isn't, you know, your sports car like it is for me, whereas this is my only car, so I kind of dub it as both my commuter car and my sports car. It's my daily driver. It's my everyday driver. This car has a nice lane keep assist feature where you can, on your steering wheel, you have this button here, and essentially if you need to open a water bottle or just take your hands off the wheel for any given reason for a couple seconds, the car actually does a nice job at taking over, and I can just hands-free for a couple seconds. So as you can see, it's keeping us nice and centered in the lane. It's going to prompt us to put our hands back on the wheel at some point. See, just like then. Essentially, if you need to take your hands off the wheel for a brief moment, this feature works great. This car also comes standard with a sunroof. I won't test it in this video, just because I don't know how it'll affect the sound quality, but I will say that at some speeds it does have a lot of buffering, which is unfortunate because I feel like a sunroof should be enjoyed, and this car you really can't enjoy it at some speeds. Other days I've found that it's okay, it's just sometimes it does quite a bit of buffering as there's no windshield like there was in my Sonata. The steering wheel is leather wrapped and it has a nice design to it. The paddle shifters also fit nicely to the hands, but they are plastic. I wouldn't say that anything in this car is bad quality. I think this interior is very nicely designed, and for a price tag of about $23,000, which is what I paid for mine, that you get a pretty good deal as far as performance, an economy car, which I've averaged about 40 miles a gallon on some longer extended highway commutes. The electric shadow color that this car comes in is beautiful. I would say that out of all of the ones I saw, whether it be white, the red, the black, the silver, This color just comes in the best, I would say. The electric shadow, it's like a blue-gray, as you guys saw in pictures before. And honestly, this car gets a lot of looks, and I like that. I like that people can appreciate automobiles as much as I do. And I'm not, you know, trying to seek attention, but this car definitely provides some. So I would say that if you're in the market for an economy car that just gets you from point A to point B, but you want to have a little bit of fun, this is a great buy. The DCT and the turbo work well together, and they provide power quick, an instantaneous response, and the exhaust note sounds pretty good. The design is also, I would say, the best in class. I'm not trying to validate my own purchase or anything, but it definitely does fit my taste as far as how it's designed with its sharp edges and its beautiful daytime running lights. And I just think overall this car is a great package. I do want to go into detail in another video about the DCT and about like the BlueLink system, but if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching this video. Peace, guys.